Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. We've got some stories going on. The main one that we're going to be talking about today is the fact that we still got Tesla under attack. Elon Musk's company. There's a lot going on with this, and it's still all over X or Twitter, however, whatever you want to call it. Kristi Noem has come out talking about there's going to be action taken against swatters. There's a lot of stories about the swatters taking place. Now, there's high high profile individuals who do conservative commentary and whatnot have been under attack by there's been a lot of swattings thus far in the last couple of weeks. I think the number's up to 17, 18, something like that. But there's been a lot. Look, swat and this is my opinion, but I think swatting, it's attempted murder. That's basically what it is. When somebody swats you at your house or business, it's harder to do it at a business, but it's attempted murder. Somebody calls in a threat like that, and the police are coming unaware to exactly what is happening at that location. Guns drawn and everything else. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if there's going to be a gun drawn on them, what have you. So, I mean, it's getting nuts, and this is attempted murder. It needs to stop, just like the fire bombings with Teslas, graffiti, everything else. I mean, the Democrats are losing their mind, and they're actively calling for violence against Republicans and conservative voices. It's insane, and it has to stop. And we've got that. Plus, we've got President Trump is supposedly going to sign an executive order today directing Linda McMahon, the head of the Department of Education, to pretty much take all necessary steps to get that closed up and get it gone. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, and we'll get into that too. But we all know how I feel about the DOE. I think it's a failed experiment, and I'm okay with it going away. But anyway, we all know I've talked about that many, many times. So, we'll get right into this here. Let me go ahead and shrink myself here, and we'll get into this. Let's see. Now, Kristi Noem. She has come out, and we've got this from her. This is her saying, under President Trump's leadership, we will not sit idly by as conservative new media and their families are being targeted by false swatting. They shouldn't. Action needs to be taken against these people. Um, and I understand it's probably going to be difficult. It's not going to be an easy thing to locate these people that are actually committing these swattings. It's not going to be an easy thing to do. But given the right resources and whatnot, I have faith that they would be able to find them, and hopefully that they can, because it's attempted murder, and you can't argue against the fact that it is. Anyway, DHS Gov has the ability to trace phone numbers and track location information. We will use it to hunt these cowards down. This is an attack on our law enforcement and innocent families, and we will prosecute it as such. I completely agree. When you do a SWAT, look, these people have families too. I mean, not all of them. Some of them do live alone. Some of them just. But look, think about it this way. I like me. I don't think I have that big of a following. I don't think I need really to worry about it because I don't have that big of a following. Not a lot of people see me, but taking the necessary steps, letting local law enforcement know that you are a conservative voice. You're a little worried about this happening because it's been happening a lot. Those are the kind of things you can do. Take steps. Even if you're someone small like me, just make sure that the local law enforcement knows who you are, have a direct line to them, that kind of thing. Just make sure that you take the proper steps to be cautious. That's it. Um, but you don't. I mean, people have families. Who's to say that the cops don't come in guns blazing because they don't. Like I said, they don't know what they're walking into. Stray bullet. One of your kids gets hurt or worse. It's not a good situation, and they need to go after these people. I'm completely on board with them doing such. So, uh, take a look at this. This is from the Post Millennial, and we'll take a look at this. Let's see. Breaking: DHS will hunt down swatters targeting conservative figures. Rightfully so. Let's see. Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, on Wednesday announced that the department will be hunting down those responsible for the increase in swatting attempts on conservative figures and journalists in recent weeks. It's getting out of hand. As I said, this should not happen. I mean, we have freedom of speech for a reason. And again, I'm all for free speech. Not for violence, not for swattings, not for vandalism or riots. If you want to peacefully protest, that's one thing. Riots are not the same thing. Vandalism is not the same thing. Firebombing Tesla cars is not the same thing. That's a crime. Anyway, under President Trump's leadership, we will not sit idly by. This is the tweet / X post that she put out. Multiple figures have been swatted in recent weeks, with one of the latest being InfoWars' Owen Schroyer. Early Wednesday morning, he posted that he had been swatted. Fellow InfoWars host Chase Geyser has been swatted twice since the spat of swatting began, and others who have been swatted, including radio talk show host Joe Poggs, influencer Mike Engelman, Nick Sorter, Walter Kurt, and Gunther Engelman. Look, this is crazy. These guys are putting this out there. Look at the police force in this picture. The guy's out there in his shorts. This is insane. It has to stop. This like I said, just take precautions. Let local law enforcement know who you are. If you're an influencer, commentator, anybody, doesn't matter your following size. Just let the local law enforcement know who you are, and that you're a little worried about what's going on. That way they know, and they don't just come to your house guns a-blazing. It's just take the precautions. Anyway, FBI Director Kash Patel has also vowed to crack down on those carrying out swatting, saying the FBI is aware of this dangerous trend, and my team and I are already taking actions to investigate and hold those responsible accountable. This isn't politics. This isn't about politics. Weaponizing law enforcement against any American is not only morally reprehensible, but also endangers lives. It does. Again, cops come, they're armed to the teeth when they have. I mean, there's some of the ones that I've read about are people calling the police department saying that they're at a house, they've got a gun, they've got hostages, and they're willing to kill and off themselves as well. That's the situation that these police officers are put into. It endangers the lives of the people they're swatting, plus it endangers the lives of the officers. It's not okay, and it needs to stop. Let's see. All right, that was all the Post Millennial had to say about it. But anyway, I'm not for it. Like I said, I can't imagine people doing this just because there's some sick people out there. They need to be held accountable. And it comes down, I say it all the time, unless there's actual consequences for actions, these people will keep doing whatever they want to because there's no accountability. Until that happens, it's just going to run amok. Anyway, so the attacks on Tesla are still going on, and it's still making its way through X and everywhere else. Jimmy Kimmel, actually, believe it or not, he's got this. This was what he had to say about it. And look, I'm gonna tell you now. Yeah, he just
down other than the stock market for a change. Our co-president Elon Musk sent a SpaceX vehicle to bring the astronauts back, and when they landed, he fired them immediately upon landing.
I don't think it's funny, but at least that was a joke. I mean, I don't think it was funny, but at least it was a joke. I can say that was at least a joke, and I was fine. That's fine. I don't care. It wasn't funny, but it was a joke. Whatever.
Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously.
And Tesla stock's actually going up now, but anyway.
So people
cheer for that. People have been cheer for an American company that makes its vehicles here in America, adds value to the American industry and to the American stock market. You're going to cheer that the stock's going down, but it's actually going up. But I digress.
vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so,
look, excuse me. We all know what the little pause was. He came out, he said, don't vandalize the Tesla vehicles. Then he paused for a second. We all know why. You don't have to say it. Because these people they're crazy and they're all for this because they're all nuts. This guy, and he's not the only one. You got Tim Walz coming out saying that, he wants to, he has an app on his phone. It's a stock market app. And he checks it frequently throughout the day because it gives him a little boost because the Tesla shares are going down. Tesla stock is going down. It gives him a boost. His words, not mine. These people are happy to see an American company, an American stock continually falling. But it started to come back up now. But anyway, they're happy to see it. Even though it hurts, Americans in other ways as well. People's 401ks are, within that kind of stuff. So it's insane. The fact that they want an American company to fail just because they don't like that he's teamed up with President Trump is insane. Anyway.
Elon Musk has been making the rounds in the right-wing media to try to appear to be a human being. Yesterday, he was guest of honor on the Ted Cruz podcast, where Sweaty Teddy, Ted Cruz seems, everything he knows about technology seems to come from movies he's seen. Ted asked Elon a question about the dangers of AI.
Is Skynet real? Like you get the apocalyptic visions of AI. How real is the prospect of killer robots annihilating humanity?
20% likely.
Not likely.
Maybe 10%.
On what time frame?
5 to 10 years.
He's going to try to get that down to 3, but...
Says another joke. I can appreciate that. I don't think the guy's funny, but at least he's making jokes. The whole Tesla thing was not a joke. That was, in my opinion, that's a call. That's just what I think. And I don't think killer robots are a thing. I don't think AI is going to take over the world. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, you got that guy. He's a joke. Anyway. So we got this from this guy's. Anyway. This is from Daily Beast. MAGA meltdown over Jimmy Kimmel joke about vandalizing Teslas. It's not a meltdown. It's just conservative voices and, right-wing media and everything. They're just right. I say right-wing media, but the only thing we have close to right-wing media is Fox. And even they're not like right-wing. I think they're trash too. But anyway, at least they do have opposing viewpoints within their organization. But I don't think it's a meltdown. It's just us pointing out the obvious that this guy is calling for people to keep doing this crap. That's all it is. It's not us, having a meltdown. Anyway. A meltdown would be the people who are actually going and vandalizing and firebombing and, vandalizing Tesla showrooms and everything else. Guy threw a Molotov cocktail into a showroom and then shot it up too, with a gun. That's a meltdown. Us talking about it, the conservative voices talking about it, that's not a meltdown. That's just us talking about it, giving our opinion. Anyway, Jimmy Kimmel sparked MAGA outrage after he made a joke about Tesla being vandalized on Tuesday night. It wasn't a joke. It was an active call. The little pause is what did him in, and we all know what it was for. Anyway, during the talk segment of Jimmy Kimmel Live, the late night host addressed the recent wave of attacks on Tesla dealerships nationwide, looking directly into the camera as he sarcastically pleaded, "Please don't vandalize, don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles." See, even they say it. Anyway, Kimmel paused for effect. No, he didn't. He paused because he was trying to send a message, letting the sarcasm sink in before moving on to his next bit as the audience laughed. Why did the audience laugh? I don't think it's a laughing issue. I don't think the guy's funny. I don't laugh at a lot of the stuff he says. there's been a couple of jokes that I've seen that he said that I chuckled at, but that was overall. I don't think the guy's funny. I think that he has a staff of like 30 writers, and they get paid a crap ton of money, and he gets paid a crap ton of money, and the guy's still not funny. So I think he's a hack, my opinion. But when you've got 30 writers in writing your script and you're still not funny, I, that's just sad to me. But that's just me. I mean, anyway. Let's see. Kimmel paused for effect. Blah 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 blah. The MAGA world, however, wasn't amused, frantically circulating the clip as supposed proof of the left inciting domestic terrorism. That's what it was. Rooting for failure of a great American company and the wink wink encouragement of domestic terrorism is a new low. Disgusting. One ex user commented under the clip. Another fumed, I'll never forget that Jimmy Kimmel encouraged violence against Tesla. Tesla CEO Elon Musk apparently felt hurt too, commenting, what a jerk. Yeah. I don't think it's, I mean, I think Elon's set up for life. I don't think all this is going to hurt him too much. Yeah, he's got his stock that's gone down a bit. I'm sure he's got insurance for these dealerships and whatnot, but it doesn't really hurt Elon. When these people go out and they vandalize and they terrorize, and it is domestic terrorism. There's no other way. This is inciting terror. I mean, these dealerships aren't specifically owned by Elon. These people, they're private people that actually own these dealerships. They've got their money into it. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into it. There's people that work at these dealerships that are just trying to provide for their family. And the left is going to come in and mess all that up. These people are not good people. They're evil, and you can't change my mind. You can try, but I doubt it. I doubt it's going to do anything. Anyway, here's some of the tweets, X posts rather. Tesla showrooms, charging stations, and cars have been vandalized in apparent revolt against the billionaire's mass firings and cuts to federal programs, which U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has branded as nothing short of domestic terrorism, and rightfully so. This is terrorism. It's striking fear within the American people. There's stories about people who own Teslas, Democrats, because let's not forget that it was the Democrats that pushed the whole EV mandate. It was Joe Biden that wanted to go completely EV by, what was it, 2038, something like that. This was a Democratic pushing point that they tried to push out. It was their talking point that they tried to push out for years. And now that Elon is actually helping the Trump administration to try and come back on wasteful spending within the government, you got them anti-EVs now. So apparently the whole, climate change and we need to take care of the environment, apparently that was all just a sham, because now they hate EVs. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway. Oh, let's see. Tesla owners in the U.S. and abroad are also selling their cars in protest. Kimmel noted that the Tesla stock was way down during the segment. It's on the uptick now, referencing its 40% drop since January. Let's see. Musk claimed he was being targeted by an anti-Doge conspiracy, and in an interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity on Tuesday, they basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud. And they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. And, well, I guess they're bad people. Bad people do bad things. Yes, that's what it boils down to. Bad people do bad things. And when these sheep on the left, because let's face it, that's what they are, they just go along with whatever's trending and everything else. So, what can you do? I think it's wrong. It's evil. These people need to be held accountable. And there's been a lot of stories lately. I mean, the one guy that was keying in Tesla, and that's another thing. These Teslas, they all have cameras. There's like, what, 5, 6, 7? I don't know how many cameras a Tesla has, but there's a lot that go all around that car. And they get activated when there's movement or whatever. I forget what it's actually called, but they get activated. There's cameras all over these cars. People They don't know this? I don't know. Anyway. So we talked about a little bit yesterday about the website that is doxing people that actually own Teslas. And I said yesterday whoever put this website up and is actively calling for violence and arson and vandalism against personal people who own these vehicles, they're actively calling for violence against these people. The people that put this website up need to be perp walked with handcuffs and put in jail. This is domestic terrorism, and it needs to be treated as such. Caroline Levitt in the press pool was there in a meeting, press conference rather. God, I couldn't think of the word for some reason, but anyway, there was a press conference. Caroline Levitt was asked about the website, and take a look at what she had to say. This is what she said.
Tesla, there's a website that's trying to dox Tesla owners across the country and saying they're only going to take down personal information when people show that they've sold their cars.
Yes, I talked about this yesterday. This website is evil. These people are evil. They put on their website, look, we'll take down your personal information if you can prove to us that you've sold your Tesla. What? These people are evil. They need to be in jail.
What's the administration going to do about that?
I haven't seen that website, but we certainly think it's despicable,
yes,
the violence that has taken place against Tesla, the company, its employees, and also just Americans who have chosen to drive an electric vehicle. Many of them are Democrats, by the way. Democrats were big supporters of Tesla and of electric vehicles until Elon Musk decided to vote for Donald Trump. So
exactly.
We would like Democrats to also come out and condemn this heinous violence that we have seen. And I believe the Attorney General has said she's investigating these incidents as acts of domestic terrorism.
Exactly. Tell me why. This is an honest question because I genuinely want to know. Why haven't I seen anybody on the left, any Democrat within office? I haven't seen it. If you got a clip or if you know of an article, anything, let me know because I haven't seen it. I have not seen one Democrat come out against the violence that has been taking place against Elon Musk and his company, or even for that matter, for private citizens for simply owning a Tesla vehicle. Where's the Democrats advocating against this violence? Where are they at? Honest question. Let me know. I haven't seen it. If it's out there, show me. Show me a clip. Show me an article. Something. Anything. I have not seen one Democrat come out against this violence and this domestic terrorism against the American people who just for simply owning a vehicle. It's stupid. It's insane. These people are off their rockers. I haven't, like I said, let me know because I haven't seen it. The only thing I've seen is the left in a roundabout way just advocating for it and saying that it's okay. If I'm wrong, let me know. I will come on here and I will straight up tell everybody I was wrong. Somebody sent me this. Here's a Democrat who actually has the balls to say this is not right and people shouldn't be doing this. Show me. Let me know. I want to see it. Anyway, so Tim Walz, he's on his little speaking tour. And this is, I mentioned before about him talking about seeing Tesla stock drop, and it just makes his day, gets him through. Anyway, take a look. Oh, wrong one. Hold on, let me get it. There we go. Okay.
Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So
Coming back up.
And if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you. Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you.
Again, this just goes back into my point about, look, if there's if there's a Democrat who's saying that, look, we don't condone this, people need to stop the violence against Tesla owners, against the dealerships, what have you. I haven't seen it. Let me know. You send me a clip, send me an article. I don't care what it is. I'll come back on here and I'll say, look, I was wrong. Here's the actual Democrat who's against it. Somebody show me why haven't I seen a Democrat come out against this? This is domestic terrorism. Tim Walz is okay with it. He's out there bragging about the fact that Tesla has, the stock's been dropping, which is actually it's on the uptick again. But anyway, it's insane. These people have lost their minds because they don't agree with what's going on. This is the tactics that they resort to, domestic terrorism. Anyway, so the Department of Education. So apparently President Trump is supposed to come out and sign an executive order today. Everybody who watches me and everybody who knows me knows that I believe that the DOE is a failed experiment and it can go away. I'm all for trying something different. I've said it 100 times on this show, everywhere else, personal life, people that I talk to. The DOA can go away. The DOE can go away. That's it. Send education back to the states where it belongs and enact school choice. School choice is an incentive for schools to do better. Why not try something different? And I've read a lot of things. They're saying $1 trillion that has been spent on the DOE since its inception in '79, which is incorrect. It's over $2 trillion, but I digress. Take a look at this. This is okay. Who was this from? I forget. Newsmax. Trump to sign order Thursday to shut down Department of Education, White House says. I'm all for it. I'm good with it. I've said it 100 times. Failed experiment. Get rid of it. President Trump will sign an executive order on Thursday that aims to shut down Department of Education, fulfilling a key campaign pledge, the White House said in a fact sheet on the measure. The order directs Education Secretary Linda McMahon to take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education and return education authority to the states while continuing to ensure the effective and uninterrupted delivery of service programs and benefits on which Americans rely. It also mandates that any programs or activities receiving remaining Department of Education funds should not advance DEI or gender ideology. 100% agree with everything right there. And I understand that this is not just going to be something that you can't just sign an executive order and the whole program goes away. I'm not dumb. I understand that. I know that it has to go through Congress in order for it to actually be shut down. But that being said, I'm not against it going away completely. I think if Trump comes out today and he signs this executive order, I think it's going to be pretty much gutting everything. I think that there will be a skeleton crew that stays on within the Department of Education for now. I think that there will be a bill that gets proposed and it'll go through Congress to just completely eliminate the program. I'm all for that too. As I said before, it's a failed experiment. Why not try something else? It's going to be rough because of the fact that the Republicans do just have a slim majority. This vote would take 60 in order to avoid the filibuster. So it's going to take some Democrats coming across the aisle to vote on it as well. Because if we only get the 53 votes that we have in the Senate, excuse me, it's not going to pass. You get 53 votes in the Senate, it needs 60. They can filibuster it. It has to get 60 to avoid the filibuster. So, do I see it passing? Probably not. But I still think that President Trump is going to take it down to just a skeleton crew. And everything I've read, look, he's going to take the necessary steps to eliminate and close this department. But I think it's going to end up being just a skeleton crew There's still going to be funding that goes through the department, but having a skeleton crew, it eliminates a lot of fraud and waste and back alley deals and that kind of stuff. And the Democrats are reeling hard against this. And I understand that there are some programs that are good, but I don't understand why you couldn't just give it back to the states. There's still, it's not like the complete funding from the federal government to the education system is going to just be cut off entirely. There's still going to be money allocated to education within the U.S. Failed experiment. Look, student vouchers or school choice, whatever, however you want to call it. That's money from the government, and it lets you choose where your kids go to school. It incentivizes the schools to be better. With the way that the education system is set up now, teachers, schools, they don't have any incentive to actually be better. It's up to the teacher. I mean, in these, there's a lot of cases, and you can say that they're the real heroes. They're teaching our kids to a certain degree. I agree with that, but in a lot of cases, you've got teachers that just, and school boards and everything else, they don't care because they're gonna get that federal funding anyway. It doesn't matter, and they don't care. They're getting the funding. It doesn't matter. School choice. Again, it incentivizes the schools to be better. That's what I think we need. You can argue against it. I have not heard one argument against it that makes any sense. You can let me know. You can try and change my mind. I think school choice is the way to go. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. If you made it through my ramblings and all the way to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. You can follow me here on Rumble. You can follow me on YouTube as well. I don't know why you would. Just go to Rumble. That's where it's at. You got the whole lineup from 9 a.m. all the way to 5 in the evening. Crowder's got the #1 spot at 11. Tim Pool got the #1 spot at noon. Jeremy at the quartering, he's got the #1 spot at 1. Rumble's taking over. Go to Rumble. Anyway, you can also follow me on X at The Political Ray. And again, I appreciate you making this far. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And God bless.